Hey everyone, Andrew here with Nashville Severe Weather, and looks like we've got a severe thunderstorm warning that has just come out for Williamson County and a good part of Davidson County as well. And what we're looking at here is TBNA. This is the radar in Nolensville, and it is showing the winds here that appear to be reaching the surface, at least to some degree, here in Franklin. So strong winds in Franklin. If you're anywhere near trees, in Franklin, around I-65, and especially just south of town in Franklin, get away from the trees. You're going to have some strong winds coming through there, and you need to be away from the trees, all right? So that is the deal. So new severe thunderstorm warning here for Williamson County, especially northeastern Williamson County, from Franklin to the northeast, for some strong winds that are coming in now from just south of downtown Franklin, down through the subdivisions along Columbia Pike, Lewisburg Pike, and over, about to cross 96 or Murfreesboro Road. Okay, so we're over here watching some traffic cameras, and we've been seeing the strong winds pick up here, and we're going to go to the 5 Points camera here. This is a city of Franklin. There's your Stormwatch Plus there, Graham.
It works.
It does. So pulling up some cameras here that we can show, but you can see here on radar while we're kind of working on the cameras here, you can see the winds there around or on the radar. They're just south of Franklin. All right, so I'm going to pull this camera view over here, and let's see what's going on there in Franklin. And we have a still picture right now, but the winds over there just west of Franklin there, around Main Street and Downs Boulevard just a little bit ago, were very strong around the quarry. And we saw a lot of dust being blown from the quarry over across Downs Boulevard. There was a flag that was being stretched pretty good over that way. And so winds were very strong there. We're going to pull these cameras back up here, and let's check and see if we can get a camera there. And no, we can't get a camera there. Looks like they may have had a power interruption there downtown, there in Franklin, but winds getting a little gusty there, and they're at Murfreesboro Road, right there around Pinkerton Park. All right, let's talk about where this warning is. Right here in downtown Franklin, you can see on the radar, you can see these winds that are in the 60 to 70 mile per hour range at about 1,800 feet off the ground. And if we go over to TBNA radar, you can see right here around Polk Place, the winds about the same, 60 to 70 miles per hour. These are only about 550 to 600 feet off the ground. And so that gives us a little bit more ground truth that the strong winds are getting pretty close to the ground there. And so that is the deal. So what typically happens in this scenario is these are the kinds of winds that can bring down trees in an isolated way. So, you know, somebody on your street may have a tree come down, a big branch come down, something like that. But we're not looking typically at a widespread wind damage event as far as just mowing a bunch of trees down. But you don't want to be near trees. If you can be away from trees, be away from trees as this wind comes through. All right, so we're going to check it again. I'm going to go back over and check the Franklin traffic cameras, and not able to get too much up there yet. Let's check the downtown, see if it ever came back up again. Yeah, so it's pretty windy. Look at the winds there in the trees there, just on the to the right of Starbucks there. This is right here in downtown Franklin, and they may have had a little bit of a power blip a little bit ago because the camera had to reboot. So possible that that's what was happening there. So wind's pretty strong there in downtown Franklin. This doesn't appear to be a hailer like you guys had down there in Franklin, a few months ago. Some new roofs going on down that way about this time, I know. So from that hailstorm, this doesn't appear to be a hailer. It looks to be more of a wind event. And we're just struggling to get the signal just right there in Franklin. But let's go back over to another camera. This is at Murfreesboro Road around Pinkerton Park. See if this one will come up. Having a little bit of connectivity issues down there in Franklin. Let's go back to radar while that's coming up. Fresh radar scan in here showing the winds right here on the front edge of the rain crossing, coming up to I-65 and Murfreesboro Road. So we'll check a TDOT camera there here in just a second as those winds cross I-65 and they head for areas like Rudderville, Page High School, all the way up Arno Road to Cedarmont, right there around around Murfreesboro Road, around the hospital, and then up through Franklin, there around the Legends Club and Fieldstone Farm. So there's an area here that stretches from northwest to southeast with these strong winds that are pushing to the northeast through Williamson County right now. So generally headed toward Nolensville in the next 20 minutes or so. Looks like it'll be headed for Nolensville. So here's your yellow polygon. Let's turn the winds off and let's check and kind of see who's in and who's out of this yellow severe thunderstorm warning polygon. The severe thunderstorm warning does include Brentwood. It does include Nolensville. It includes a good part of Davidson County from downtown out to the airport, Percy Priest Lake. If you're on Percy Priest Lake, be aware that there can be some strong winds coming through there. You got a little time, but I would go ahead and make your way to the marina if you're out on Percy Priest Lake. Get out of the water. Just it gives you time to get where you need to go. But go ahead and get there. Don't wait around in a cove or something and then just wait till it shows up. Go ahead, because this wind, a lot of this wind's on the front end of the rain. Okay, so it's not the rain may not even get to you before the wind does. So go ahead and get out of the water. Same for Old Hickory Lake up there as well. So downtown Nashville, Fontenelle, Madison, Goodlettsville, or up in the northern part of Davidson County. That's where this is, and that's who's included. So this severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 5 p.m., and so that gives us about another 22 minutes on this storm. All right, we're going to go check a TDOT camera here, and let's do that. I'm going to do that over here on a different screen, and then we'll get that pulled up for you. So let's go to the TDOT camera here around I-65 and 96. All right, so what can we see from this? That is a very grainy picture, so not a lot. Camera's bouncing around, traffic's going slow, but that's about it right at the moment. Camera's bouncing around pretty good. You can tell that the raindrops are blowing across the lens, so wind is definitely strong there, but it's a little bit hard to tell much else. Graham, I think this camera it's probably streaming in a resolution that we had back in 1998.
Looks that way.
Can't really tell much from that. All right, so let's go back to radar here, and clearly a strong area of winds. Is severe wind reaching the ground? We're not sure yet. Let me go over and check reports. Graham, you're looking at. I'm assuming you're looking at Instagram reports. Anything coming through there?
Nothing at the moment. So that's a good sign.
Okay, good. Hashtag T-Spotter is the way to let us know what's going on as far as Twitter goes, or X. So if you have damage at your place in Franklin, reports are very, very valuable on this type of day, because we need to know if there's any sort of damage happening with these storms. The Weather Service especially needs to know if there's damage going on with these kinds of storms. And that way they can either extend this warning off to the northeast or let it go. If there's not severe winds reaching the ground and causing damage, there's no reason for them to extend the warning. But if they're only going off of radar data, they're only getting a certain part of the picture. And so they're warning this based on the radar showing that there are winds up to 50, 60 miles per hour, 55 miles per hour, 60 miles per hour there, 59 miles per hour, right there around the Thoroughbred Theater, the Nissan headquarters, Centennial High School, right there around Cool Springs Boulevard, up to the mall, So that's kind of where the strong winds are now. Let's see where TB&A has this winds. This is the radar out toward Nolensville, and yeah, same place and about the same strength. So we're looking at about 60 miles per hour at about 400 feet. So that seems reasonable out there right now. So wind's still blowing clearly pretty hard. This is at I-65 just north of the Murfreesboro Road or Highway 96 exit. Definitely pretty strong there, shaking the camera pretty good. Let's see if we can get Brentwood's cameras up. This will be coming right through there soon. Let's go to... All right, we're going to go to Brentwood's feeds. Let's do that.
Yeah, this doesn't seem to be a hailer.
Doesn't seem to be. I'm getting a few pings of some hail on radar. Radar indicating there could be, well, that's disappeared. There was an indication that could be maybe a little bit of half-inch hail, but, that doesn't seem to be the case. Yeah, wind blowing pretty good here. This is at Moore's Lane and 65, and you can, if you watch the trees, you can see quite a breeze blowing through there. Not worried about tornadoes today. This is not a very tornado-y environment, but strong gusty winds definitely a possibility and seem to be occurring. See a flag sticking out pretty straight there at Moore's Lane and 65. Let's check another camera here and see if we can get another one. Let's see, this looks like this is going right over Cool Springs Boulevard, coming over Galleria. And we might have a good camera view here. See if we can get something going here. This is going to be right there, not too far from where we just were.
TB&A showing some pretty gusty winds right there north of the Franklin High School.
Okay. Yeah, this looks to be like there's just some pockets of really strong wind, and then it dies down. It looks a little bit more disorganized than it did just a little bit ago. This here is going to be a pretty good view for us. This is Moore's Lane and Carruthers there, that kind of weird intersection by Haverty's. Winds kind of died down there, so not too strong there. Good view for us, though, to see good shot at the trees. But it seems a little bit less strong than it did just a little bit ago. Go over and look at reports. So it looks like we have a couple of branches down. Rachel shows a little branch there out of her tree. That's going to be Franklin Green near downtown Franklin. So not much in the way of damage. That's good. But always feel free to report that to us using hashtag TSpotter, and we will get that over to the weather service. So definitely a blustery storm. Definitely a kind of a typical summertime storm, Graham. This kind of feels like it's kind of what we get around here in the summertime.
Yeah.
Just these windy storms. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go try to find us a new camera here. Trying to find us a spot where we can try to nail down some wind speeds. Boy, Wilson Pike and Concord Road sure looks windy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to find us some cameras there. There we go. So this is Concord Road, right at you're looking right there around the YMCA. So this is right there at, I believe it's called River Park. This is right there at the YMCA. Still, it seems like the strongest winds are right ahead of the rain, and that's sort of exactly what we see here. The streets are, well, they're getting wet. The rain is starting to come down, but I think the strongest winds have just passed there. So the severe thunderstorm warning continues, and here is more of that view. This is going to be Concord Road and Wilson Pike, and this is looking down toward the YMCA. Okay, and you can see right up here, the tops of those trees are really blowing. So they're really moving. So very strong winds that seem in the tops of the trees would be enough to cause some issues, some falling branches, stuff like that. So especially some of the weaker trees. It's been awfully dry lately, and any trees that have gotten weakened at all by that could have some branches come down. So again, if you're near trees, don't be near the trees. Find a way to get away from the trees as the storm blows through. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for Williamson County. Basically, Brentwood. There you go. Basically, Brentwood off to the north and northeast. All right, so here we go. Yeah, severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect till 5. All right, so strong winds coming through Brentwood now, and we're just sort of following this with traffic cameras. Seems to be one of the better ways to sort of follow these things as these storms blow through, just because we have a lot better network of traffic cameras in our cities than we used to, and it's a good way to sort of see these storms come through. And Brentwood has a good network of traffic cameras. So we just sort of follow the radar signatures, and we just sort of follow them along as the storms come through. So you can see they're definitely still blowing pretty good. This is Concord Road and Crockett, I believe. Concord and Edmondson, excuse me. Concord and Edmondson. Could have some power outages today. That wouldn't surprise me. You can see the power lines getting blown around in the wind there. They do a pretty good job around here in this part of the country of keeping trees away. So when they're trimming the trees and cutting all your trees down and all that sort of stuff around the power lines, I know it can be frustrating, but this is exactly why they do that. They do that tree trimming for storms just like this one. It could mean the difference between massive power outages and very, very few power outages. You can see the trees that are near these power lines just getting rattled, power lines moving around, everything, but they don't appear to be coming in contact with the trees. So keeping those trees away from the power lines is a really big deal for a storm like this, and can make the difference between being without power for hours and hours, and you know, when it's just a simple branch comes in contact with a power line. So the good thing is, looks like power's on here. You know, they've done a good job of keeping the power lines away from these lines, or the trees away from these lines. So that's good. Trees definitely getting blown around. Let's check radar again. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for about 9 more minutes. And it looks like the strongest winds right here in the subdivisions of southeast Brentwood and moving through areas like Foxborough, Brent Mead, Whetstone, Williams Grove. Looks like the strongest winds have crossed Concord Road right there around Wilson Pike. Let's check TB&A to see what it says. It's got a bad angle to TB&A. See how the winds just kind of disappear. It's because it's getting to a bad angle on TB&A. So we expect there's still strong winds crossing Concord Road and going into the subdivisions here in East Brentwood. But it's TB&A can't see those. It's almost invisible to TB&A right now. So we won't be able to use that for a little while. Going to rely on the Weather Service radar here. Let's see what they're saying here. I forgot to name the YouTube Live, didn't I? My bad. So this is not storm coverage for May 26th. This is storm coverage for June 26th, a month later. My bad on that. This is June the 26th. All right, so Weather Service radar shows the strongest winds right around Lansdowne, Foxborough, and Chenoweth. So those are the neighborhoods right along Concord Road. We've been watching those streams from the traffic cameras and looking to see if looks like winds have died down a little bit. Still gusty there. This is at Concord and Edmondson. And still gusty. Still gusty there. Let's check another couple that we've been watching. Not much to see there, is there? Let's see. But things have died down. Yeah, things dying down here in Moores Lane and Carruthers. Sun might be about to pop out there again. And that TDOT camera that there wasn't much to see on. Let's get rid of that. Sounds like one of my neighbor's chicken coop blew over. Uh-oh. In that first gust of wind. Sounds about right. All right, let's go watch radar here for just a second. And even the Weather Service radar showing things starting to calm down on the radar presentation a little bit. Edmondson, right around Edmondson Elementary, Annandale, still some winds possible there in the 50 to 60 mile per hour range aloft. We're talking about 1,000 feet up, so probably less than that at the ground. So that's headed kind of for Nippers Corner, Nolensville, Old Hickory, the Creve Hall area. So everybody's going to get some rain out of this and probably some thunder and lightning occasionally. But the strongest winds appear to be down here in Brentwood and to the southeast. So Percy Priest Lake heads up. Even if it's not severe winds by the time it gets to you, you're not going to want to be on the lake. So go ahead, and if you know somebody on the lake, if your family's on the lake or something, you know they're out there, give them a holler. Let them know that they need to get into the marina and get inside. Got a report here from Jay Ellison, power out in Brentwood, Crockett, and Concord. So, it doesn't surprise me. It's you get winds like this, you get some little things that happen. Some branches come down and whatever, clip some lines or whatever. So hopefully that doesn't last very long. Whoa, the wind just got to me. That is pretty decent.
Same here, actually.
Yeah, I heard it before I saw it.
Yeah.
I heard it from the window behind me. So, yeah, winds are definitely pretty gusty with this. I'm just glad we're getting the rain.
Same here.
I'm going to check on some power outages here. I'm going to go to NES first and check this while you're watching the radar. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for another 5 minutes.
It's like they're going to reissue it.
Are they? Okay. All right. Going to reissue that severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like right now, looks like 238 customers with NES. I expect that'll go up here in the next couple of minutes, especially with Crockett and Concord. Actually, that's Middle Tennessee Electric, I think, but it's right on that line down there. But it looks like 238 out on the NES. That number could go up as that stronger area of storms from Brentwood down to Nolensville move into Antioch, Percy Priest Lake. Those numbers may go up. We'll have to see. Let me go check Middle Tennessee Electric here while y'all watch radar. And Williamson County, about 3,500, between 3,500 and 3,600 customers out in Williamson County. New severe thunderstorm warning just came out, and that's going to be until 5:30. So new severe thunderstorm warning now. You're watching radar. Let me turn off the lightning detector here. Let me turn off the lightning detector there so you can kind of inspect. Let me turn off the significant weather advisories also, just to kind of make things a little more simple.
I got to remember to mute that thing when I get on here.
Two severe thunderstorm warning polygons, but don't be confused by that. The first one here that was in effect for Williamson County, that will be expiring in the next few minutes, and then a new one is in effect here for pretty much the rest of Davidson County. It will not include Williamson, but most of Davidson County. That's going to be in effect till 5:30 for the winds along this line. And I can tell you, they were pretty strong. When they got to me, it was right as the rain started. And it was, I heard it out my windows. I didn't see it, but I could hear the roar outside and turned around and saw it there. I'm at my office up in Oak Hill. So right here where the rain is just beginning. And those winds were right on the front of the rainfall, raining pretty good now at my place. So new severe thunderstorm warning now that will include Percy Priest. It'll include Donaldson, Mount Juliet over there in Wilson County, Hermitage, Lakewood, Madison, Goodlettsville, Bakers, Joelton, all the way down to downtown Nashville. That's going to be for these gusty strong winds here, out ahead of the rain. And so let me check here at about, let me see here on some updates from the Weather Service. They just said they're going to reissue the warning. So no real update from there. But let's go look. Power outages here from Middle Tennessee Electric. And looks like a couple of big outages there. One of them is around Concord Road. Woo! Which took a close lightning strike. Big power outage there around Concord Road and Crockett. And then so that's going to be a good part of the southeast Brentwood area. And then another one down here in downtown Franklin. And in total, about 3.5% of Williamson County without power. So about 3,600 meters out down there in Williamson County. So decent storm for us, and that is caused little problems there on the electrical grid there in both Davidson and Williamson. And we expect the numbers. Expect the numbers to maybe climb a little bit as this goes through Davidson County, so the NES numbers may come up a little bit as far as power outages go. So typically these can be resolved pretty quickly, and hopefully that happens. 5 o'clock now here on June 26th. I know our date for the YouTube Live says May 26th. That was my bad. Haven't done one of these in a month, and forgot to change the title. My bad there. And I'm afraid if I edit it right now, it might cause us a problem. So I'm not going to edit it right now, okay? So I know it says May 26th. This is for June 26th. And it's 5 o'clock now. We have one severe thunderstorm warning in effect. Williamson County is all clear on the severe thunderstorm warnings. We now only have Davidson County included in a severe thunderstorm warning now that stretches from downtown Nashville off to the northwest toward Joelton, and then to the southeast through Antioch and down to Cane Ridge. So really bisecting the county from northwest to southeast. Oh man, Luke says he already edited the date That was nice of him. Luke, man, thanks for doing that. Luke is awesome. He's our web guy.
On top of it.
And Luke is on top of it, fixing my errors, and I appreciate that. So it looks like the date is right now, thanks. So June 26th now, 5 o'clock. So from Joelton down to Antioch, strong winds continue. We can't completely rely on radar data here. Another really close lightning strike at my place. Looks like strong winds now from Joelton down to Antioch. Radar is showing this a little bit, but we can't rely on it completely because it's at a really bad angle to the radar, these winds are. So we can't completely trust the velocities as these storms come in, as they cross Davidson County. We want to know your reports. Send us your reports. Hashtag T-Spotter on Twitter, and then we want to know about any limb damage, tree damage, anything like that that you see outside where you are. Hopefully you're not driving, especially through Davidson County. Just be real careful with the tree situation. I can tell you when it came through here where I am, we have a line of trees outside my office here, and they all it looked like a sail. I mean, they just caught all of that wind. And that was the noise I heard. I didn't realize it had gotten here yet, and it really taxed those trees quite a bit. So definitely a day where we could lose some trees, and we've already seen apparently those have caused some power issues, especially in Williamson County, and might do so here in Davidson County too. So careful out there. Be real careful. In Williamson County, be careful with trees that have fallen as you drive now that the storm has kind of moved through. Be careful, rounding a corner and there's a tree or a branch or something. Public Works hasn't been able to get out there yet and deal with it. So just be careful as you're driving home, and just be wise as you turn corners. There could be a tree down right in front of you, and especially on roads like I think of like East McEwen, between Cool Springs Boulevard and Wilson Pike. A place like that where briefly you're kind of driving through the woods. All right, entirely possible there could be a tree down in there somewhere. So just be careful. Just be careful. A lot of lightning with this thing. Apparently, I hear it. I'm not looking out the window, but pretty close strikes with it. Could be getting a little bit of hail now, actually, over around Percy Priest Lake. Percy Priest, you're out of time. So hopefully, if you knew anybody on a Percy Priest Lake here about 30 minutes ago when we were talking about it and saying, hey, you got a little time, but you need to get off the lake. Hopefully that's happened because you're out of time on Percy Priest Lake. You're about to get a lot of rain, a lot of wind, and that lake could churn up pretty quick. So I've been out there on windy days, and it's really not fun. Your fun ends when a storm gets there. On Percy Priest sometimes. Graham, tell us about how to send reports on Instagram. So totally different from X, but if you're over on Instagram and you want to send in reports, Graham's watching that, but tell us about how to send those in.
Yep. If you're on Instagram watching, just send us a DM with your report, wind damage or hail, and I'm over here looking out for those.
Cool. Thanks, Graham. And you'll be there a while watching those as they come in. Still seeing some reports. This is a pretty big limb down over in Shelby Park, over there in East Nashville. Got a lot of pictures of some interesting clouds with this. And Brandon reports multiple small tree branches snapped along South Royal Oaks between Riverside and Centerpoint Place and Rand Place and Franklin. So, yeah, that was right there along Royal Oaks. Would be right there around Murfreesboro Road, Mac Hatcher, that area. So South Royal Oaks Boulevard, multiple small tree branches snapped there. So, again, a very heavily traveled road right here at this time of day. And just be careful. Careful traveling out there with those tree branches down. Let's see here. Looking through some other reports. People calling that wind no joke. Yeah. Yeah, so I was talking about the hail just a second ago. Could have some hail. Radar is estimating here around 1 inch, maybe quarter size possible. That can often be a little bit large of a number. It could overestimate. That happens a fair amount with the radar, but it's estimating winds just over quarter size. I mean, hail just over quarter size, right there around the airport, Percy Priest Lake. Not entirely sure if that's happening, but up in the atmosphere here, yeah. The storm actually is getting its act together aloft a little bit better. This is looking up at about 20,000 feet, and some pretty heavy cores here now. Pretty heavy cores right here just east of the right at the airport, just east and around Percy Priest Lake. So wouldn't be surprised if this storm does produce hail, and if it actually produces some additional wind damage here with time around Hermitage. So Hermitage, heads up for you. The storm aloft, let's look at it again, just south of you, is getting its act together here. This is looking, again, up at about 20,000 feet. Really big core there now. Right around I-40, around Donaldson and Hermitage. Would not surprise me at all if we get some additional wind damage up there around Hermitage in the next little bit, maybe even up toward Lakewood, Green Hill, and over toward Mount Juliet. So that's entirely possible. So the best way to send us reports, obviously be safe, be away from the trees, all that kind of thing. Anything that can get blown around, be away from all of that, and then send us a report using hashtag TSpotter if you get some damage. Let's see here. Somebody asked here, any tornado threat? No, this is not a tornado event. This is a straight line wind event. Really not a tornado event today. Huge limb down in our yard by the Church of the City. So that's, again, right down there in that same area, right there around Highway 96, Murfreesboro Road, or Highway 96 there on the in Franklin. Let's check velocities again. Still seeing some pretty strong velocities right on the front edge of that rain. Stretching from Nashville Shores to Hermitage to Peeler Park, Madison, Amqui, up to Rivergate and Goodlettsville. Still seeing that possibility of some gusty winds there. And wouldn't surprise me at all if those continue. All right, so this severe thunderstorm warning, let's back out a little bit and let's turn the rain off. And let's sort of look at the view of the radar just as if we're just looking at the polygons here. So this severe thunderstorm warning up here in Montgomery County and Stewart County, no worry for us. The only one we're focused on here is this one severe thunderstorm warning in Davidson County. Williamson County is all clear. Davidson County now under this severe thunderstorm warning until 5:30. So another 21 minutes on this severe thunderstorm warning in Davidson County. Entirely possible this gets canceled early for Davidson County as they trim this warning back as the storm moves out of Davidson County. But still a little bit of time yet left on that. Strong part of the storm now around I-65 and Cedar Hill Park, Amqui, Rivergate Mall, up toward Goodlettsville and Lakewood. So what this is, it's a big gust front. And let me just sort of explain a little bit about what's going on here. And by the way, we are having some weather classes that are going to start that we're going to teach. And we can talk about some of this stuff, but I'll give you a little bit of a sort of a preview of what's happening here as we've got this severe thunderstorm warning. So we have a lot of energy out there today, a lot of potential energy available for the storms today. But we've got this. Did you see that shelf cloud before the storm got there? The winds picked up. That was a gust front, a very strong gust front, and that gust front is focusing the lift that the air needs to produce storms. So we have a lot of energy out there, but we didn't really have a lot of lift today and this afternoon. And so that gust front is what provided that lift and that mechanism, the last ingredient we needed to get those storms going. And so as soon as that wind comes through, Well, then all these cells pop up and form a line here, and that's exactly what's going on today. So this gust front ahead of this line is what's fueling the storms back here, and then they sort of die off because the gust front has moved on. So once the gust front moves on, then the storms go away. So that's exactly what's happening here. So storms will come through. The severe thunderstorm warning is in effect till 5:30. Once that's gone, we expect that's going to be it for the day as far as severe weather goes, because that gust front, the focus for the lift, is now out of here. So could still have some energy around, but the gust front's gone, our focus for lift. Let's see here. Looks like the peak winds at the airport were 40 miles per hour. 40 miles per hour at B&A. So that was a pretty strong wind gust there. How are we doing on Instagram, Graham? Any reports of anything there?
Nothing.
Okay.
It's pretty quiet.
All right. Yeah, latest report on T-Spotter was about 8 minutes ago, and had a large tree that split there in Shelby Park in East Nashville, or near Shelby Park in East Nashville. Let's see here. I'm going to bring over let's see, something on Twitter, getting some reports here. They've trimmed the warning a little bit. So it looks like this is video here from Franklin, and looks like some telephone wires, and can't tell if that's electrical. Yeah, I think it does include electrical there. Some wires brought down by a branch. So that seems about typical for what we could see today as far as damage goes. Doesn't take much of a tree to cause a problem with electricity. Let's check NES again. See how NES is holding up. Yeah, up to 428 outages now. So 428 meters without power in Davidson County. Certainly could be a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
We've had summer events here that have let's just say been warm for a while, so caused some big problems on the electric service. But strong winds now coming through Hermitage, Summit Hospital, Peeler Park, Tulip Grove, Hermitage Golf Course, Lakewood, Green Hill over there in Wilson County, and right toward the Weather Service office. You see that, what we call the cone of silence. That is the radar dome there, the actual radar that we get all of our radar data from here. And it's located there just off Old Hickory Lake, and it's getting a pretty good view of these storms right now. And still showing winds in the 50 mile per hour range there around Summit Hospital. And that definitely could be enough to cause some problems with wind. Let's look at the rain view just a minute, sort of get an idea when this is moving out. So downtown Nashville, B&A, Antioch, really everybody southwest of I-24. You guys, the heaviest part for you is now moving northeast and you're going to have some light showers around that stick around for half an hour. And then that should be the extent of the rain. Looking back on the radar, could have some additional showers for a while, some light showers this afternoon or this evening rather. And then the strongest part of the rain now starting to move into Sumner County and over into Wilson County. And the strongest winds now certainly moving right there around Lakewood, Hendersonville, Millersville, and moving on into Sumner and Robertson counties and Wilson County. So strongest part of the storms now are beginning to make a run for our neighboring counties and out of our area. But if you are northeast of I-24, keep the hatches battened down for a while, because that's where still the strong rain, the lightning, heavy winds, where all that remains. So that's where we are right now. Let me go back and look at some reports. Let's see. Nothing new.
Mm-mm.
So that's good. That's good. We'll take it. Up to 898 customers without power now in Metro. Big outage now around Antioch, right there around Bell Road and Moss Road and Rural Hill Road. So basically from the old Hickory Hollow Mall off to the northeast, Bell Road kind of across from Ezel Harding School. Big outage there, 513 customers in that neighborhood. So these things are, like I said earlier, typically resolved pretty quickly. Pretty simple fix, usually something just a branch clips the lines coming down or something like that. So hopefully that'll be reset here pretty soon. All right, so this severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 5:30, so that's about another 12 minutes now, and we're watching the storm as it starts to move into Wilson and Sumner counties, and we're starting to clear areas back to the southwest that are no longer in the area of potentially damaging winds. That seems to have moved off mostly to the northeast, but areas like Millersville, Bakers, Goodlettsville, Rivergate, Madison, Amqui, Hermitage, Peeler Park, Hermitage Golf Course, places like that down to Nashville Shores, Percy Priest Lake. These areas still are within the range of, or the area that could have some severe weather here. And again, we're talking not so much about hail today, not so much about tornadoes today. Really not at all about tornadoes today. This is a straight line wind event that is pretty typical. Welcome to Nashville here in the summer. This is the kind of stuff we get in the summertime here. It's mostly a straight line wind, maybe hail, small hail. We usually don't get giant hail in the summer, but we do get these strong, gusty straight line winds that come through that are now appear to be moving mostly into Wilson and Sumner counties, with some heavy rain remaining in Hermitage and Lakewood and Goodlettsville and Rivergate now. But I would guess that the strongest is probably moving to the northeast of Davidson here. Let's see here. Debbie says over in Donaldson, over by 840 and exit 219, very heavy rain and wind. Several very large branches from her tulip poplar ripped off and on my roof. So getting some reports from over in Hermitage of some pretty strong winds still there. And, we can see this pretty clearly on radar. Let me back up and go forward in time. Especially right here. Yeah, right around Summit Hospital, Andrew Jackson Parkway, right there around, I believe there's that driving range there, a couple of gas stations, that intersection. Possibility of some very strong winds there. Chandler Road, Andrew Jackson Parkway, right there around the railroad, the Music City Star, which would be going back and forth right now this time of day. Wouldn't be surprised at all if you're taking the Music City Star for there to be some delays there. They may need to go out and check for some down trees there along the line there in Hermitage, right there around the Hermitage station. So, again, I don't know, but it's just a guess. They may have to go check that out. So it looks like we had some very strong winds there in Hermitage, right there around Old Lebanon Dirt Road and Chandler Road and Andrew Jackson Parkway, Old Lebanon Dirt Road, and then Old Hickory Boulevard, right there through Hermitage. So really strong winds there, potentially up to about 67 miles per hour at about 200 feet off the ground. So that looks to have started to die down now, but and just got another report a second ago from Hermitage saying that it was pretty strong. So Tulip Grove probably pretty strong there as well.
Definitely not a tornado event for those who are asking.
Yeah, definitely not. This the atmosphere today is just not conducive for tornadoes. This is a classic Nashville straight line wind summer storm. So this is I'm not worried at all about tornadoes today. But the wind is impressive, especially over toward Hermitage. So let's just kind of check power outage numbers again, up to almost 1,500 people, 1,500 meters there without power there around Hermitage. Yeah, there's a decent outage right there around New Hope Road and Myra Drive. Might be a few others there as well. Getting some reports of some power outages there in Hermitage. So that looks to be where some of the strongest wind in Davidson County appears to have been from right there around the airport and northeast into Hermitage and moving toward the National Weather Service office up there along Old Hickory Lake. That appears to be where the strongest wind has been in Davidson County in the past little bit. Let's go check TBNA. Yeah, interesting here. TBNA actually had a really good shot of that wind. Let me see where that little microburst landed. Looks to have been right around the Stones River. So watch right here. You see these yellows and oranges pop up right here around Central Pike. So right around Central Pike and blowing all the way up Andrew Jackson Parkway and Chandler Road. So I would expect there to be sort of a swath of tree damage stretching really from Central Pike and Dodson Chapel Road, and really going from there and pushing northeast Andrew Jackson Parkway and Chandler Road, and really going northeast along Chandler Road into Wilson County. So it looks like a pretty strong area of wind there. Very interested in reports from right there. So if you are around Hermitage in those neighborhoods there, around Summit Hospital, Chandler Road, Dodson Chapel, and Andrew Jackson Parkway, Chandler Road. Very interested in your reports because it appears to be there was some 50, 60, maybe 70, 60 mile per hour winds there around Hermitage just a little bit ago. So something we are very curious about. If you could send us some reports. And the number just jumped to 4,204. So let's see.
Wow.
Let's see where that big outage is. This is Inglewood. So Inglewood now coming in with a pretty big section of Inglewood without power now. About 2,600 customers without power there in Inglewood. So large outage there in Inglewood, and that it's just west of where that storm is. I would have expected more power outages over here in the Hermitage area. But this one over here in Inglewood bumped the number up to 4,204 just recently. So that's it was caused by those pretty strong winds just a little bit ago. Looks like the Storm Prediction Center is not expecting to issue a severe thunderstorm watch. Watch probability is only 20%. Not expecting to. This appears to be a relatively isolated event here with this severe weather that we've got going on here in Nashville today. Most others in Middle Tennessee not experiencing this today. So this seems to be a relatively isolated event here in Davidson and Williamson counties. Let's talk about this warning just for a second. This warning is in effect until 5:30, and most of the strongest part of it appears to have moved off into Wilson County and into Sumner County. It's only in effect for another 2 minutes or so. And I'm going to check with the Weather Service and see if they've updated at all their intentions here. And at 5:28 here, they have issued a new severe thunderstorm warning. That does not include us. So Macon, Robertson, Sumner, Trousdale, and Wilson. So they're going to put a fairly good-sized warning out for this one. We'll have a new polygon pop up that should not include Davidson County as the storm moves out of our area. So good news for us, this thing's blown through. There's your new polygon that's for the areas to the northeast of us, up there in Robertson, Sumner, and Wilson counties, and areas off to the northeast. So new polygon there for them. Ours is still in effect for another couple of minutes here, about another minute, and then ours will go away, leaving us with a bunch of storm reports, a bunch of trees down, apparently several power lines down. The majority of folks still have power. This was not a huge power outage event by any stretch of the imagination. We've seen way worse, and so it looks like we got away with some isolated to scattered power outages, but definitely some trees and branches down. So again, a couple of particular areas that we're interested in. If you have any reports from the Andrew Jackson Parkway, Chandler Road, Old Lebanon Dirt Road area right there in Hermitage, right there around the railroad where the Music City Star, that Nashville and Eastern Railroad, if you have any reports from there, that'd be fantastic because we suspect that we expect that there would be some tree damage there, kind of along Andrew Jackson Parkway, Chandler Road, Old Lebanon Dirt Road, Dodson Chapel, places like that. So if you have any reports from there, you can hit us up over on Twitter, hashtag TSpotter. You can put it in our replies over on X. That's fine. We try to see all those we can. The best way to do it is to go use hashtag TSpotter on X there, and that puts it all in a column where we can see the reports of damage and get that over to the Weather Service. That's the best way to send us damage reports, and then we'll get that to them. They're very particularly interested in damage reports today, as they always are. Severe thunderstorm warning that just came out does not include us. All clear for Davidson County, all clear for Williamson County. And we just kind of got to pick up the pieces of trees and limbs and that sort of stuff and get the power back on to those of you that have lost power. But other than that, hopefully we came out of this one pretty good, we hope. So no warnings in effect now for Davidson or Williamson County. Graham, let's wrap it up, man. And thanks for being here and covering Instagram. And you can also send those reports. If you're over on Instagram, send those to him through a DM there on Instagram, and he'll get those reports to the Weather Service as well. So anything I missed?
Yeah. I don't think so.
All right, cool. Well, y'all have a great afternoon, great evening now, 5:31 here on June 26th, and a little bit of wind damage out there. But the heat returns over the next couple of days. It's going to be hot and dry, it looks, for a while. We'll have those. I believe Elon's already posted the blog for us. So
Yes.
The forecast blog's ready to go. Check that out over there. And otherwise, we'll talk to y'all later. Have a good one.